Memories. Yeah. Memories. Memories.
Welcome back. It's a brand new season of CGL.
This is just an absolute treat. These players are so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss. Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven.
No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from me. Just gonna solidify everything from those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
SKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Inu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an Avalanche immediately into the back. Fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Alrighty, welcome on back for some more CGL action. We just keep it rolling here. We are in week 8 of the regular season, that final one before the playoffs with some diamond action for you. I, of course, cannot cover it alone. I have the lovely OC by my side this evening. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's a pretty good evening. I got my matcha. I'm ready to go, ready to watch some Overwatch, and I'm excited to see what the teams pull out, because usually casting lower matches, we get to see something other than Orisa, Genji, Cass, or something of the sort. So you get a bit more creativity there. You get a bit more room to work with.
Exactly. It just makes it that much more fun when you have these lower matches. Here in Diamond, we have Queen of Diamonds, currently the #1 seed, and I think that's pretty much guaranteed and locked up for them, versus Eat My Brownies, who is currently chilling at that #2. So while, there's maybe not enough time left to get them above in the group here, Eat My Brownies can still sort of play upset and be like, hey, listen, we can beat you. Send a message right before playoffs start. So it could be a fun one to watch out for.
Right, and this kind of a match too, I think it might give you an idea of how these two teams might go up against each other in the playoffs, how they might perform in the playoffs. So even if the match doesn't have a massive impact on seeding or anything like that, it will still have an impact in terms of what is the playoffs going to look like? How are these teams looking? Are they in form? And maybe after this match, they'll reconsider certain approaches to certain maps, so on, and it'll help them kind of approach that that playoffs section of the season.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself. But in order to see how they are looking this evening and how they'll look, we have to first see who's going to be playing, starting on these rosters. So starting off with the Queen of Diamonds. Ooh, look at this, the fancy animated stuff. We're getting better and better here at CGL. But we've got Reverts and Hollander on the DPS line. We have Cloud Lemon on tank, and then Xerneas and Vert bringing up that support line. Vert been very vocal about how much work this team has put in and just how good they are right now.
All right, yeah, I'm excited to see what they're gonna roll out on, what they like to play. We see the Lucio Kiri as the heroes that they've chosen. They pretty much a classic dive composition almost. I like the little hero portraits; they're so cool. But maybe we'll see a dive out of them. Maybe we'll see something like that. It could be very interesting.
Yeah, I like how everyone's like looking forward except for Kiriko. She's like, I'm too good for this. I've got stuff going on. But there's a lot of stuff going on, including the other side of things. Eat My Brownies. Would love some brownies right now. That sounds delicious. But they're going to be starting with Djorn and DK on the DPS line. You got Juju starting tank, and then Wonder Waffle and Imp on supports here. Again, not as familiar with this team here, but, the record speaks for themselves. They're doing pretty damn good this season.
Right. I'm excited to see what they have. Excited to see what they got. And we'll see, again, what personality these teams have, what compositions they run. And we'll get a better idea of this matchup as we get through the first map, going into the second.
Exactly. And speaking of those lovely, lovely maps, the last week of regular season means our last set map pool. You get to see them in all their glory. Lijiang Tower, a fan favorite to start us off. Get some Blizzard World and Hanaoka in, and then if maps 4 and 5 are necessary, you got them there in the back half. We'll worry when we get there. But, starting off on Lijiang Tower, like you said, I mean, maybe the dive isn't exactly the most prevalent thing on this map, but you're going to see a lot of different variations as Lijiang Tower has sort of become a staple for a lot of teams.
Lijiang Tower, definitely the most popular control map, I would say, especially in scrims. And you also have a lot of variety in terms of compositions, but I will say, although that's normally the case, in this meta, you really don't have that same amount of variety. Most teams just stick with the Orisa because, you have Night Market. It can be a little weird at times, but again, like most teams, they just run the Orisa. Control Center, most teams run the Orisa. We might see other forms of Brawl compositions, but I think generally, like, trying to force any sort of dive is difficult. We've seen it out of, like, top teams like Crazy Raccoon try to run the ball, but the problem is Brig Juno. The problem is Brig Juno, and Brig Juno is so oppressive with these Brawl compositions that Tracer has lost a lot of her value. So I think in Lijiang, we can expect more of a brawly playstyle from both teams.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the other great thing about Brawl right now, right? Like, even if you're leaning away from the Orisa, you're not guaranteed, you're not guaranteed to see the Orisa. You still have so many other Brawl tanks, right? The Ramatra, the Malga, even Rhine, if you just want to play a funny little shield hero, so many different options to play with that Brawl. And of course, everything else can sort of build around that, whether it's going to be some sort of speed engage, a Juno, a Lucio, whatever it may be, trying to get you around. But ultimately, it comes down to if these teams have actually practiced it, or if they're just going to say, you know what, we don't care what the map is, we'll just play what we like.
Right. And that's very possible. What I'm looking for here is either team going to deviate from that Orisa? And I kind of expect that to potentially be the case. You have teams at the highest level experimenting, but, even lower level especially, you have a lot more room that Orisa isn't as oppressive because teams aren't playing perfectly. So, like Junker Queen, for example, the Rampage, super, super strong against Brig Juno because it struggles to deal with anti. You have Ramatra as well, which is a little stronger after those Orisa nerfs. So you have options.
Options indeed here as we're getting our look in the spawn rooms. It does seem like a bit of the dive is going to be coming out, at least in terms of our tank variety here, so that'll be a fun matchup to watch out for. But the rest of the team, pretty much orthodox stuff here. I think the one main difference is going to be in the backlines here. The Baptiste providing that extra healing as already the fight's broken out onto point. DJordan's found one onto the Tracer here. Great start for Eat My Brownies, and now that Winston's just going to be bursted out. The Cassidy shots ringing true here is going to be sending the rest of Queen of Diamonds spiraling back to spawn.
All right, Queen of Diamonds kind of they did kind of fall apart there at the beginning of that fight. Immediate pick from DJordan, and that kind of cascaded from there. Eat My Brownies on a kind of a Brawl composition. It does have a diva, but everything else about it, that's not good. But everything else about it is more of a brawly composition. You're playing around that Symmetra. The diva's more of just a defensive unit.
And so when you have that diva being the defensive unit, it allows things like this Cassidy to just go crazy here. Now setting up for the next one, Queen of Diamonds, making sure they take their time here, getting their Tracer out of spawn. Now they're going to be pathing through to this white room. They want to try to take control of as much of the point as they can before they have to full commit to their dive. But Cloud Lemon just does not care. Already in the backline has put this Cassidy on half HP, but DJordan manages to live for the time being thanks to some amazing peel. Now the Deadeye, the damage mitigation, and the lamp means this Cassidy will live. No kills have come through from it yet. Hollander, 8 HP and a dream as DJordan is the first one to fall. Now this could be the start of something big for the Queen of Diamonds, but health bars are starting to dwindle as now Cloud Lemon is gone. The boop off the map, Reverts is gone, and now their advantage is slowly fading away here as it seems like it's all Eat My Brownies.
Queen of Diamonds, they're going to struggle in longer fights. You have to look out for that Sim Beam. It's going to get more and more powerful. And I almost think that this Diva pick from Juju is an outright counter pick. I think it was a little bit of scouting from this team, figuring out you're up against that Winston composition. Because otherwise, you'd normally see Orisa or whatever, but the Diva here is actually really effective. It looks like a weird composition, but it's actually pretty effective.
A beautiful stick, though, is going to make that less effective as that healing source is gone now. A beautiful boop does not result in any kills here. Defense Matrix is just going to be held for the time being, but Reverts finds 2 massive Cassidy plays here, and now this is going to be finally the cleanup that Queen of Diamonds needs to get this point flipped.
All right, Cloud doesn't want to deal with those sim turrets. Jump right back at them and clean it up real quick. That's the first cat for Queen of Diamonds. They can no longer afford to lose another fight. Xerneas has the Kitsune. I think you have to play this really fast if you're Queen of Diamonds. So we'll look out for maybe like a quick bridge fight or something here.
We will have to see where they ultimately end up fighting, but it seems like a teleport play actually is going to be putting Eat My Brownies right onto the point here. Beautiful follow-up, though, is going to remove the sim from the equation. The bomb is being committed now just to try to get Juju back in mech here. While they are able to do that, they are dropped to half HP at the hands of Reverts on this Cassidy. Now the Deadeye is on the other foot, fires off, does not end up with a kill here, but missing their tank is Queen of Diamonds. And now Dijon finds the Tracer, who did not get that sound barrier. Sound barrier HP has now dwindled, and Eat My Brownies find themselves at an advantage, but Reverts might be the hero needed. It's going to be just one, though, as both Cassidys now removed from the fight. Cloud Lemon coming back into this one. It is a staggered out fight. Both divas now on the point, trying to do damage to each other here, simply waiting out their time. Meanwhile, Queen of Diamonds just been controlling the objective this whole time, so it's working out great for them. The pulse bomb on the wall doesn't net any kills. You might want to stick that to a player next time, as we're seeing just again these staggers coming in over and over again. But finally, Eat My Brownies is starting to tick up in the advantage here. They do even get the flip here, so this could potentially be the end of the round as it just keeps going. Dijon with 2, looking for a third, might not need it as we're in overtime now. Does finally get that third. The diva won't make it to point in time, and Eat My Brownies gets that first map somewhat chaotically.
Eat My Brownies making you do a little work there at the end of that map. Again, like these extended fights are great for them, and the fact that they held on to control there too for so long and were able to contest that for so long only helped them, right? They were even holding on to the sim barrier at the end there. They weren't really concerned at all. I think it kind of came down to Hollander's pulse at the end. Hollander didn't land it, and after that, it was just so hard for Queen of Diamonds to kind of come back from that. Now we have more of a brawl-centric map here. Definitely brawl-centric. I think forcing a dive here isn't the play, so we can already see from Queen of Diamonds, maybe some Bastion May.
Yeah, I mean, this brawl look, this is what we were sort of anticipating heading in here, but 2 different variations of the brawl here. You see Eat My Brownies having this Reinhardt in play, meanwhile Queen of Diamonds over to the Orisa, so we will have to see which brawl tank favors the best here, and I have an odd feeling this Rein shield is going to get burnt incredibly quickly. Revert's already in turret form. There goes Rein's protective barrier, so now all you can do is swing that hammer, but if swinging right back is the Orisa in your face here, Juju will finally fall. And just because there's nobody else left to mitigate that damage, and that'll just be a quick one for Queen of Diamonds.
All right, Juju's gone, and this is a really difficult matchup for Reinhardt, right? It's very, very difficult. It's going to be difficult for Wonder Waffle to actually get onto Queen of Diamonds and swing as well. So getting valued at that brig is going to be a challenge. Juju making a swap over to Orisa, and now you have Queen of Diamonds pushing into the spawn, the wall. Juju's caught. Fortify use, trying to get back, isn't able to. Reverts finishes that kill, and now just resetting here. We'll see if they try and hold close.
We will have to see here. Swaps continue to happen at Eat My Brownies spawn room. I feel like they just got smacked awake. The Queen of Diamonds letting them know that they are here to play for sure. It is going to be now Eat My Brownies starting being able to walk out of their spawn room, waiting for this speed engage potentially off the speed ring, but it's just Juju having to burn this Fortify to live through the Bastion spam damage. Finally, that turret form goes away, but Juju is still worse for wear on HP, has to wait for Imp to heal them up. Now, actually isolated by the Mei Wall. Beautiful wall is going to mean that Juju falls before the rest of the team can make their way into the point. A Blizzard is the cherry on top of this cake here. The Brig frozen up, the Juno missing is going to keep Queen of Diamonds rolling.
What a wall from Hollander, but I do think that was a bit of misplay using the Blizzard. They did not need that. They got Juju really early on. They had a lot of resources available, so that might affect them going to this next fight where Imp has the orbital, and that Blizzard is usually really good for zoning it, but now you don't have that.
Missing that key tool here, but plenty of other ultimates on the other side of Queen of Diamonds. We'll have to see what they choose to invest as that orbital ray coming out. Imp trying to be the space maker for the rest of the team here. Juju walking forward has burned all of those Orisa cooldowns. Meanwhile, pulling everybody in with the Terra Surge just going to mean that you're stuck still, ready for Dijon to catch you with this overclock. Now 4v4 situation, make that 3v4 as Reverts with everybody's assistance is able to get that pick onto the brig here, going into turret form as everybody on the side of Eat My Brownies is low HP. They can't surmount a push just yet, but they're running out of time.
Eat My Brownies, they're on the Moira Lucio now. They're going to try and go for a quick re-engage. Reverts holding onto the Bastional. looking to kite back here and just use it, maybe through cover, although maybe not just yet. The Wraith is forced out of Deco Bomb, and now here's the... that did not work.
The Death Blossom, it was very eager, but it just does not come up with the kills. But what does come up with the kills right now is Djorn on this Sojourn. That's 2 for him in the fight already, and that'll actually be a flip for Eat My Brownies at the 11th hour.
Okay, Eat My Brownies, they have a faster composition. They have the Reaper, they have the Moira, they have the Lucio. That means they need to take a very, very fast fight. The Mei, the Bastion, again, like the longer the fight goes on, the more value they're going to get. Hollander also holding onto this Blizzard as well, so you have to watch out for it. Juju can kind of ignore it with the Terra Surge, but other than that, Eat My Brownies don't have a lot going for them this fight.
No, indeed. So it'll be some raw mechanical difference here if they want to get this map continuing in their favor. Now with the engage, Queen of Diamonds pushing forward. They are starting to look a little bit weak, but that Blizzard does come out. Now the Fortify is going to be used as well as the Terra Surge here, but it will not keep Juju alive, but it does not matter. The damage is being done by the rest of the team here, and it seems like Cloud Lemon wondering where the rest of their team went as they are the last to fall.
All right, Eat My Brownies. They took a fast fight. They won that fight, and Hollander's Blizzard is out. So Queen of Diamonds, they have a window to start. Revert's still holding on to the Bastion ultimate, but you know, now I would say the ultimates are in Eat My Brownies' favor. They have the Coalescence. They'll probably start with Coalescence and then go into Beat from there.
Most likely here, giving themselves that extra sustain tool as the artillery strike is thrown down onto the point, just trying to find a wayward member, but it will actually be Hollander, the first one found out. Now an overclock being dedicated, but it's shut down. Lemon decides to remove that Sojourn from the fight after it's all said and done. We're 3v3, but Wonder Waffle, the Moira, deciding that I will do the work with the damage, the healing, everything in a bag of beans going forward in this fight. The Lucio now done, and the Orisa sent spiraling as they're trying to regroup for one more fight.
It's for and both have their beats. Whoever gets the better beat here might just straight up take it. Deco Bomb also close to the Death Blossom, so look out for this here.
You gotta watch out for it. But actually, DK is caught out, just simply bursted down by the Cassidy. Beautiful shots from Reverts here. And this will actually be a massive resurgence for Queen of Diamonds. That's now Bear keeping everybody healthy. It's now just the Orisa left standing. And unless there's a miracle touch, I think that's Queen of Diamonds sending us to round 3.
Imp lost the beat, trying to get back here. Can Imp even make it? Imp's just not able to make it to point, but yeah, they're going to go on to a round 3. Imp dying twice in a row with beat. That is really unfortunate for Eat My Brownies. They kind of got away with it the first time. The second time, that was the definitive factor. A risky choice from Queen of Diamonds to use the beat aggressively, but it paid off.
Yeah, absolutely massive from there. Now as we're heading into Night Market, we'll have to see any switch-ups come through. This is, you know, the old cheese Symmetra map, and I mean, DK is already hovering it. Do you think it's going to fare well this time around, or do you think maybe Queen of Diamonds figured it out?
We'll see. I can definitely see the Symmetra coming from them again, as they ran it the first map. So, yeah, the Diva... What's their backline going to be, though? That's the question.
Apparently, they've decided on a Yari Lucio here. Very interesting, unorthodox backline, to say the least. Meanwhile, the other side of things, both teams actually teleporting in. Just a little bit of that Junkrat spam coming out from Reverts. It forces Immortality Field early, but Xerneas using that Immortality Field can now take out Djorn. Now this Baptiste is applying all of this extra healing, but it does not member. The members are falling one after another. Xerneas wondering where their team went, as that is a massive team victory for Eat My Brownies.
These are interesting compositions. You have Reverts on Junkrat, which, you know, I would have assumed that'd be a more of a control center pick, and there's the swap over the Cast Soj, double hit scan again. That is still a little strange, but also Eat My Brownies on Alari Lucio. I think they kind of have to play off the back of point, just poke, and bait the point, but maybe it'll work.
We'll have to see if the poke is ready here, but as we are just watching this push, Reverts actually finds the first pick onto Wonder Waffle, removing them from the fight, now breaking that pylon. That source of healing is missing for Eat My Brownies. Their health bars are definitely showing signs of that. The Ahri has been found and now down. It'll just be another cleanup here as Queen of Diamonds take it right back.
All right, a confident push from Queen of Diamonds. I like that a lot. Cloud Lemon immediately hunting down the Alari there. Retaking with Alari is the hard part now. You know, you can kind of set up angles and play it slow on the defense, but once the defense is broken, I'm not sure if this is going to work as well. You do have Imp close to the Captive Sun, though. That might be why they're sticking with it. We'll see if they get value out of it this fight.
We shall see. The Captive Sun is going to be what we look out for here. Meanwhile, a teleport play is going to get Eat My Brownies back in that defensive positioning they want, but they are looking worse for where Wonder Waffle, again, the first one found out here. Meanwhile, Imp now having to hide. They can't do it for long against the Sojourn, and while that Symmetra Beam is charged from DK, they are not long for this world. Djorn does manage to get 2, make it 4! This Cassidy's turning it single-handedly! Oh my god!
Djorn just did everything. All right, we'll take that. Imp still has the Captive Sun on charge, 90% now. So they're back in that defensive position. They'll have a better chance here. Wonder Waffle got picked off early last time, so it was never really given a fair chance. You see, it's Vert playing with fire. It's Vert. It's Vert. 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 Oh no. Questioning life decisions there.
Definitely, but Vert manages to live now, delivering that sound barrier. That extra HP should be the go button for Queen of Diamonds. You're seeing them walk forward here, but it is a beautiful kite needing effort here that is happening now as trades are starting to come through. This bomb on point is creating tons of space with the Captive Sun with the bomb damage is just enough to wipe out the entirety of Queen of Diamonds.
I've been hyping up the Captive Sun for the last half the round, I guess, and hey, it paid off, so it's working so far. Ilaria Lucio, 80% on the point now. Eat My Brownies just need to take one more fight to take this map.
One more fight. They're going to have this sound barrier to counter out the overclock on the other side of things. We'll have to see if they can actually successfully do that now. A Diva Mirror, no more Orisa in play for the time being. This overclock is starting to fire its first shots off, finds some damage into the backline. Finally, that sound barrier is delivered from Wonder Waffle as overtime is triggered. Now you're going to see Queen of Diamonds trying to rush in here, but they are losing members quickly here. They can't get anyone else onto the point, and just like that, Eat My Brownies take the first map.
Eat My Brownies. They have some interesting approaches here with this Diva Symmetra comp. I don't hate it, though. This is one of those times where you get a bit of a off-meta, I guess, composition, but really, it's actually pretty strong. And we've seen, like, Brawl Diva compositions out of teams like SSG before, so it's not unheard of. And it can work very effectively, especially into the Orisa stuff, right? Ilaria Lucio, on the other hand, I think is a little insane. It's a little psychotic, I'm not gonna lie, but if it's working, it's working. And if you win the round off of it, you win the round off of it. Getting 3 with Captive Sun is ridiculous, but you know what? We will take that.
Yeah, I mean, you'll take it to the bank and more here. That Captive Sun, you know, like you said, it's unorthodox for sure here, but they managed to get the job done just that way. And again, we have to remind ourselves, right? Queen of Diamonds coming into this, the clear favorites, trying to get that golden season. And Eat My Brownies, you know, they're here to just sort of prove that they can, even if they can't overtake in the standings, they're still here to, you know, try to deliver these punches and let them know they're ready for the postseason. But only time will tell if they can keep this momentum up, but especially heading into Blizzard World, we might see more of that ERE come into play.
Right, and Eat My Brownies is a pretty dangerous team. You know, I do think they sometimes trip up with their fight plans, like we saw the Lucio kind of get caught out that one fight or so on, but generally, the compositions that they play and the ideas that they have are pretty solid. I think, like, they saw the Orisa composition, they were running the Reinhardt to start. They decided not to stick with it, which was a very good decision, and that really paid off, you know? So I do think they can adapt. I do think they are capable of taking Queen of Diamonds on, and so far, I'm pretty impressed.
And it's, you know, it's just that level of being impressed, right? Just showing that you can pull up against an opponent that everybody has favored and picked out right now as one of the tops here in Diamond. But, you know, there's still got to be a lot of work to be done. It is just one map, and it was close, you know, that back and forth affair, even if that round 3 did look a little bit one way. There was, you know, clutch plays on either side of the coin, though. We saw Djorn get a 5K to single-handedly flip the point there. That was pretty neat. So we'll have to see if they can keep delivering.
Yeah, Djorn hits the hits like that 4K play, the team kill, and then the next fight just misses the shots on the Lucio on that stagger kill, and then he just stands still for a moment. He's like, "Oh no, oh no."
You know what it reminds me of? If you think to Overwatch history's past, I believe it was like Carpe like flipped a point to like 2v6 or something. It was like Carpe EQO. You're just missing the other DPS in that equation, and then you get the other side of Carpe where you miss a couple of shots and a couple turns into a lot. But it is sort of but the magical voice in our ear is telling us that substitutions are coming in for the side of Queen of Diamonds here. They have a deep roster, so they might as well flex it. We've got Salty coming in on that DPS role and Salem for support here, so maybe Vert realizing my Lucio might not be the answer. I'm getting a little too creative out there.
Right, and what this kind of at least translates to me is that I think Queen of Diamonds might go with a Juno composition. That's what I think they're going to do here. I think they're subbing their Lucio player out, maybe putting a Brig player in. And then I'm not sure what else they're going to run, but I think they're generally making substitutions to run more brawl-oriented compositions. Again, off the Lucio, more onto maybe a Juno Brig or something. We'll see, though.
That's sort of the tale right now. We will just have to wait and see because, you know, these teams can absolutely run anything. All we have is this sort of, you know, profile picture. They get to say whatever they want as their favorite hero. I know anytime I play, I just tell people Reaper. I promise I'm not playing Reaper that often. But yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to keep people guessing, keep your opponents on your toes, perhaps. And that's one of the things a deep roster allows you to do. Then, you know, Queen of Diamonds is executing on that flawlessly.
Right, and now we're in Blizzard World. And Blizzard World is admittedly a really weird map in this meta because teams can't figure out if they want to play Brawl or if they want to play Dive here. Winston and Diva compositions, especially like Diva stuff or like weird Brawl hybrid stuff, can work. You have high grounds, you have that kind of dominance there, but also the Orisa Brawl compositions are very effective. You know, my personal take would be the Diva into the Brawl is a little better, and then if you got a Dive mirror, like the Winston is a little stronger there. We'll see what each team runs, and we'll see if they make any adaptations.
We'll see, indeed. The defenders, you can tell a little bit easier because they have to actually come out of spawn and get set up here. Damage boosted Ashe for the time being, as well as the Echo in play. Gives you a lot of options to play with this Mercy pick. Meanwhile, the attackers still sort of figuring out what they want to do here in their own spawn, but it seems like it will be that Diva mirror that you were thinking about, but that Juno is here and ready to go.
Okay, Diva versus Diva, Juno, Kiriko, an interesting choice. I think that might align to a dive composition a little better, though. And then you have Echo, Ashe, Mercy. This is a very greedy kind of DPS line. You're relying on pure damage to protect your backline, protect your Ashe, and so on.
Yeah, and so we'll have to see if that pure damage can come through here, as the staging is not going to come through just yet. Reverts finds that head, removes Dijon from the fight. The Diva Juju flying forward, but unfortunately can't do a whole lot else. Now it's just going to be this sort of hiding moment for Eat My Brownies as they try to get Dijon back in the fight. But you know, as I'm saying that, though, Salty is missing now, so a 4v4 could be a good engage opportunity, but the Resurrect is there. Now, as the fight actually escalates to high ground, T-Jordan has killed Reverts again. This Ashe cannot make it out of the spawn room, and now we'll have some company there as Salty is going to be the next one to fall here, and Eat My Brownies actually being able to open this up rather well. Cloud Lemon will get one onto Imp, but it seems like that's all they're going to get.
All right, and we see Salty going over to the Genji, and that kind of tells me we might not see Mercy again, although if Salem could stick with it, that is a possibility, but I do think it becomes riskier and riskier if you stay with it, but you're not kind of sticking with that super pokey DPS line. That's first cap for Eat My Brownies, though. They're 60% to the orbital. That's what we have to look at the most. 80% to the Kitsune as well, but that orbital in particular is the most powerful.
Of course, that orbital ray, it's a fight winner these days, and it does that for a reason here, as now it's just going to be some simple defense matrix poke back and forth here. Both teams looking for their advantage on this first corner as per usual. Don't know where to assault from, the high ground, the low ground. It's so many different options. A damage boosted Genji is in a little too deep, though. Salty is going to have to find a way to escape, and it may be off the back of the Bob here. Now going to be a D-Mech actually coming through on the other side. Juju managed to escape with their life here. Beautiful kite coming through from Eat My Brownies is going to allow them to fight this another day.
Imp has the orbital now. There's the Kitsune. We're going to advance, and it looks like Juju's straight in. Actually, an aggressive bomb here. Is this going to get value? It will. Salty's gone.
Oh my goodness gracious. Beautiful re-engage. Juju now going to get that one. Like you said, Dijon has now gotten the Bob on the other side of things, and Queen of Diamonds is just going to have to kite back.
Yep, Imp has the orbital still. You're holding on to that. That's effective. That's a really good way to deal with the Kitsune as well. You throw the orbital right on top of the Kitsune. It's really hard to get any value of that if you're Queen of Diamonds. And here's the Kitsune.
Here's the Kitsune, and now we're just waiting for that orbital ray on the other side of things. Eat My Brownie simply choosing their moment. They might actually just kite this back, wait out the Kitsune rush, and engage after the fact. It seems like that's going to be the play for them now here. Is Genji diving in, though? It will be some Genji on Genji violence before they're both removed from the fight, but the defenders are finally starting to muster something here with Wonder Waffle now missing. Only 3 members of Eat My Brownies left here, and it seems like they're just going to escape.
Queen of Diamonds, I think Kitsune came out a little early, but Eat My Brownies didn't really respond with the orbital fast enough, so they weren't able to recover, they weren't able to stabilize, and they are sent back to spawn. Still holding on to the orbital, though, so they still have that. We could see, like, an orbital blade or something of that sort. Salty also approaching his blade. So, blades on both sides, but one of those blades is going to be a lot more powerful.
We will have to see who can have that better Dragon Blade. You think to Overwatch's past, you love to see those blade plays, but it is a different game now. It is going to be difficult to make sure these slash dash combos come through, but it'll be Salty pulling through first here. Gets 2 in the face of the orbital ray. Massive trade here, going for the 3rd. Will manage to get it here. Beautiful negation, and the blade on the other side from DK just gets shut down.
I have to commend Queen of Diamonds for that fight plan, because the easiest way to beat Orbital is actually to play a fight really fast, because then the Juno can't really react in time, and the Orbital kind of gets ahead of them, if that makes any sense, and then it's really, really easy to kind of win. So the fact that they took that fight so early in the initial kill box really tells me they understood. They understood the danger that the Orbital provided, and now they got Orbital and Blade out of Eat My Brownies for just a Blade. They just got it for a Blade, and that's really good.
It was a massive trade here. Queen of Diamonds certainly looking a lot better on this defense than they were on point A, but Salem just a little too high in the sky, gets their wings clipped by Dijon. Salty in the backline trying to make up for it, able to take out that Ashe player, and it is finally starting to go more of Queen of Diamonds' favor. The Bob is out. Salty will pay their life for it, but not before reverts. The Ashe player stepping up massively here to keep this defense alive.
Right, and Imp now over to Alari Curie, Wonder Waffle close to the Kitsune. We're going to see a stagger onto Juju. Poor Juju now trying to run away, trying to rebuild the mech instead of running back to spawn, though, which is an interesting choice. This is going to allow the stagger to extend, and their Cloud Lemon finishes that kill. Xerneas has the Kitsune now, and Eat My Brownies, they just have to wait for a while.
Yeah, and I mean, considering how fast they got through point A, right? They had about 5 minutes in the bank here, and it's been dwindling pretty much the entire time. So now with about a minute to work with here, Eat My Brownies are going to be coming in. They have this Diva Bomb if they need to remech here. They have a Kitsune Rush to mirror on the other side, and they're going to be funneling themselves through this small little doorway. You gotta hope they don't get caught. Now that Kitsune Rush is out, they're charging forward, able to take a lot of space is Dijon, but the recall is forced because of how low they dropped. The kiting pressure comes through, but Eat My Brownies is finally starting to come up with the picks here. That Diva Bomb will take out Reverts, and Salty is soon to follow. Beautiful Resurrect keeps us at a 4v4. Make that 3, though, for the defenses. Xerneas now missing that Kitsune Rush, not even pulled yet, so sitting in the spawn room trying to get out here as Eat My Brownies. They're simply pushing forward. They have all of the opportunity in the world right now, but it is starting to be stifled. Reverts, again, the clutch god that everybody needs right now, coming up with more and more picks. This Ashe needs to be stopped. They're trying to apply the pressure and they simply can't. There's a damage boost onto it. There's so much pocket coming through. Now if Imp missing, only 10 seconds left. Eat My Brownie simply throwing themselves at this cart trying to get something.
Okay, Deca Bomb has the blade as well. Can Eat My Brownies even contest at this point? Juju's gone, no mech. Here's the Kitsune out of Xerneas. Salty's still holding onto the blade. Wonder Waffle's gone. Blade's traded from both teams. We can't really see what's happening here, but the Kitsune is through, and there's the bomb. Like 4 ultimates out of Queen of Diamonds, and that'll be it.
That'll be it. Stopped right at the end of point B. A good defense there. Eat My Brownies. They were able to get some early success, but then they really just got stuffed into the locker time and again, and they weren't able to overcome it.
Right. Eat My Brownies, they kind of got almost a little lucky first point. They got a little bit of momentum. They got the pick onto the Echo, and from there, they kind of just steamrolled, especially in that neutral. And the Juno can be very good for that with the ring as well, and I think the ring placement was good. But second point really slowed down, and I really have to say the difference maker was Queen of Diamonds with their fight planning. The fight planning, the ult tracking was on point, and specifically, again, I really have to commend them for the orbital fight, because they played that perfectly. They played it perfectly, and Imp actually was just like, I'm done with the Juno. I'm going to Lari. And now I expect the D.Va mirror again here on this defense, but we'll see if there's any differences, because Revert's maybe looking for a shot at a spawn.
Yeah, and it's only sort of the time will tell situation here of how long this Widowmaker will exist, whether it is just the one shot or something more here. But Reverts really was putting on a show there on the Ashe, lots of space being made and taking advantage of it. So hopefully Dijorn can have an equally as great performance here. Eat My Brownies really relying on it if they want to keep the lead in this series. But I want your thoughts on what a Brig Moira is supposed to do here.
Yeah, I was about to say, what is this? Like, okay, Carry Mercy, you know, I'll give a pass. Right? Revert's also sticking on the Widowmaker potentially, so that's interesting. But Brig Moira, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure. You usually see Moira as like a way to play super fast, but here it might be survivability. We'll see.
Well, surviving is not something Xerneas is able to do, as Dijorn has found that pick. Resurrect is there, though. That's the great thing about Mercy. You're allowed to make mistakes. She's here to simply cleanse that for you and get you back in the fight. Now we are in a 4v4 situation. You see the D.Va, Cloud Lemon already making their way over to point just to apply that pressure. Eat My Brownies is going to be forced to respond by giving up the high ground entirely here. Now the Sombra jumps into the face of enemies. I'm not sure if that's where you wanted to be, DK. And now as the defenses are starting to dwindle, Imp does manage to get one onto Reverts here, and now they're trying to find onto this Mercy as well. Oh, the Ashe reload. You hate to see it. It's just unfortunate timing there. Not enough bullets to make sure that Mercy dies. Meanwhile, Cloud Lemon has all of the bullets in the world here, and this should be point A unlocking.
Cloud Lemon did a lot there. Because Cloud Lemon forces the point. You get the Sombra and the D.Va to look at you, and then that allowed Queen of Diamonds to take the high ground, and then you see Deco Bomb like try and TP up and retake it, like almost like a panic moment, and that's when everything fell apart, right? And you can give Cloud Lemon the credit for that. We're going to see Deco Bomb get staggered there at the very end, and that's going to mean a little bit of free push for Queen of Diamonds, but generally you're working towards this corner. Dijorn also a little pick on the Salty, so a few interesting picks, but I don't think that has a major effect here going into the next fight. Salem has the Valkyrie. I think Xerneas' Kitsune, though, is the first like major ultimate besides Dijorn's Bob. Like, you'll see these as the engagement ultimates here.
We will have to see which one ends up coming out first, as now you're seeing Queen of Diamonds. They're just pushing the low ground, not really concerned with that high ground pressure for the moment here. They think they can just simply push through the main, have the advantage on the payload. Hacks trying to come through from DK, but that D.Va is just too sharp about it, and you're not going to be able to get that one that easily. Juju going in aggressively, trying to find that damage onto Reverts. It's not going to happen, as it will just be another soft little reset. The Bob and Kitsune now being traded out both sides, but Reverts will find that first one onto Dijorn. The Bob's still there doing damage. Now the bomb actually being thrown in, trying to create some disruption, does not ultimately come away with a pick here for Cloud Lemon, but tons of space being created thanks to the bomb from the Salty. Hey, listen, if it doesn't work once, just have an Echo do it again. And now Queen of Diamonds is pushing fast towards the end of the point.
Right, nice little double bomb there. Key ultimate here is Deco Bomb. It's all up to Deco Bomb with this EMP. Can you get value out of it? That was 5 ults from Queen of Diamonds. They kind of screwed their ult economy, and now you have to take advantage of that.
And they're going to try their best here. The D.Va Bomb being thrown just to create the space on the cart. Nobody able to touch. Now getting closer and closer to that EMP. Waiting for the moment. It is online here, but they might not need it just yet, as Salty has already fallen. Now, 4 members left for Queen of Diamonds. They're still poking. They're still fighting. It's going to get the D.Va mech here in exchange for that amplification matrix. Now with Salty back in the fight, this could be a go button again for Queen of Diamonds. Still lacking in ults, but they don't seem to care here, as they found the Sombra. Will this EMP be able to be delivered, or will DK be found out? No, that's going to be a massive ult missing from the fight here. Juju trying to throw that bomb in, but actually the rest of Eat My Brownies is coming up clutch. Dijorn has found one on Xerneas. Imp is doing what they can. They've gotten Reverts out of the fight, but it is just a back and forth. No healers now on the side of Eat My Brownies. Their HP pools are staying at where they are. Dijorn already removed from the fight. D.Va, Juju so incredibly low, has to try to live, but it seems like the defense is going to muster something for the time being.
All right, Imp over to the Lucio. So off of that Brig, little brawlier here. It's going to be difficult for Deco Bomb to find this EMP. Seems like he's a little afraid to go for it. He's a little afraid to commit to it. And you can't blame him, right? It is a little more difficult in this meta.
I mean, yeah, more than difficult, right? It's absolutely impossible. Sometimes the EMP comes through, it connects onto 3 members, but the damage is being done by reverts. The bomb now being thrown. The EMP was simply for naught as the rest of the damage was there, and Queen of Diamonds is going to tie us up 1 apiece.
Initial pick onto Imp was the death sentence there. Queen of Diamonds take Blizzard World, and they looked dominant. They looked absolutely dominant, and definitely looked like a bit of a different team than we saw in the first map. And my thought is that I feel that Queen of Diamonds might be preferring dive compositions. They might prefer D.Va or Winston compositions. So we'll kind of see going into it in the future what they decide to go with. But I am a little concerned for them because our next map is a brawl map. It is Hanaoka. And yes, I do think they could run some sort of a D.Va kind of like brawl variant, but it's harder. It is harder. And I do think they might be forced into a brawl versus brawl situation again, which they wouldn't prefer.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the story of Clash, right? It's always been more of these brawl-favored compositions sort of taking the stage, allowing the momentum to just build behind them. But we will have to see, you know, maybe give them some time to strategize, figure out what they want to do for that map here. As we throw it to a quick little break, you know, if you're a viewer at home, go get some popcorn, go enjoy yourself for 5 minutes, but make sure to be right back here because you do not want to miss any more of this action.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Alrighty, hopefully you went, used the bathroom if you had to, got yourself something to eat because we might have a banger series on our hand. Queen of Diamonds and Eat My Brownies tied 1 apiece heading into Clash here. And I mean, OC, just catching people up on everything that's been going on. Like, what would you say the best way to sum this up is so far?
So far, I feel we've had Queen of Diamonds kind of dominate on these like dive compositions on Blizzard World, while Eat My Brownies, they just love it. It seems like they're really good with Brawl, and they've actually run like a Diva Brawl almost. So we're still getting a feel for these teams. We're still getting a feel for what they prefer, but I feel like Hanaoka will give us a very good idea of how strong both teams are with Brawl compositions, because there really aren't too many options here.
Yeah, exactly. That's sort of the nature of Clash, right? All roads lead back to Brawl because, you know, you simply don't have time for anything else, right? These fights happen so quick, so chaotically, right back into each other that you can't set up dives. You can't just wait for picks to come through on poke compositions. It really is just going in on the Brawl time and time again. And there's variations of it. Like we said, we've seen, you know, the Orissas come out as the primary thing. We've seen a Reinhardt tried. It was met with a Bastion and a Mei, so it quickly left. But it was there for a second. It was fun to see.
Right. Reinhardt's interesting. We could see it again. I just think it's very difficult unless you're up against the Zarya. And it's so funny. We've seen like moments in professional play where Crazy Raccoon, they see Falcons on the Zarya composition on Control Center, and then Crazy Raccoon, they don't take the fight and lose it. No, they walk back to spawn and they swap to Reinhardt in spawn, and then they come back and they still win the first fight. they had time to go back to spawn, swap, and then come back, and it was probably one of the funniest moments from Korea. But just generally, like, Reinhardt is a very kind of specific pick. We'll see if they try it again, because it can work on these more enclosed maps, but definitely into these Orisa compositions, Bastion or whatever, I'm not sure if they're going to give it another shot after they kind of saw that it just falls apart with a few picks.
Yeah, maybe a little bit hesitant to try that one, but who knows? Maybe some new people piloting could change that tune here. As we have a bunch of substitutions, we're being told. Looking at Queen of Diamonds first, they've got Hollander back in on DPS, and same with Vert. So this is going to be returned to more of their fast potential playstyle that we saw on Li Zhang. But, you know, will it actually work out, or will they get caught out again?
Yeah, we'll see. I think this is kind of their Brawl lineup. So we'll see how they play it here. We'll see how well it works for them. Vert, more of the primary Lucio player for the team, it seems. And, you know, they weren't exactly helpless on Li Zhang. So I do have a good bit of hope here. We'll see what they can do.
Yes, and meanwhile, on the other side of things, speaking of what they can do, we have a complete switching around here. So Juju goes from tank over to support. You have Avatar Gray coming in to play tank. They will be heading it up. The Reinhardt profile picture still looking lovely. And then Sexual Heals. I didn't know that battle tag would be allowed, but hey, here we are. Hey, so it's just a complete switch up of the support line. What do you make of this?
I'm not sure yet. We could see maybe kind of like from Eat My Brownies, we saw more of the Diva Brawl, right? And it seems like their previous tank player who was in, who I'm bad with names, so I kind of forget a little bit, but they like the Diva a lot. Avatar Gray, maybe we'll see Ram. Junker Queen, we obviously have the Reinhardt avatar there. Maybe Reinhardt. So again, maybe a slight adaptation to deal with just how enclosed and small this map is, because it's brawlier than Li Zhang for sure. There's a lot less room, there's a lot less open space.
Yeah. And so, I mean, all those factors can certainly play a part here. But, you know, even looking at it behind the screens, behind what you're playing, right? I feel like that definitely changes your comm structure a lot, right? Regardless of who you have calling, things like that, potential ult tracking, things that have to be, you know, worried about and changed. So, you know, surely they have some reason for it. I don't think Eat My Brownies is simply a team that's like, guys, what if we put our tank player on support? Wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah.
Granted, this is CGL. I've seen far crazier, so I wouldn't put it past the team. But I'm simply going to say I have faith in Brownies simply rolling out with this because they're probably good. They know what they're doing.
Right. And again, I think both of these teams, they're switching up their lineup to deal with a slightly brawlier map. So we'll see if those adaptations work out. We'll see if we see any new compositions. And considering that Queen of Diamond, Eat My Brownies are really changing things up, I expect something different.
Yeah, and so now we are just simply in the waiting phase, making sure every single player is ready for the glorious streets. Fun fact, I was gaslit earlier today when I was casting. I was told this is not a spawn room. At Echo, I know you're observing right now. This is a spawn room. I will reiterate it again. This is just the back one, not the starting one. But yes, that's a little tangent. Don't mind me. I'm crazy. But you know, Hanaoka, Hanamura, regardless of where you are, it's beautiful here.
It is beautiful. I definitely enjoyed my vacation trip to Japan last summer too. Very fun.
Mhm.
Japan's cool. Japanese language is cool as well.
Yeah, absolutely fun to see here. Now, looks like both teams are going to be starting off on the Junker Queen look. Of course, they still have time in the spawn if they want to change it up. But, I mean, with the Junker Queen, the double speed actually from Eat My Brownies, this could go really, really fast.
I've coined a term in my stream, and I call it Juicio, and that is Juno Lucio, because I don't know, Juicio at this point is a bit of a it's a bit of a joke backline because it either works super well or it falls apart instantly. Now, I've actually heard of teams running this legitimately in scrims, like Fluffy Dreamlander running it on New Junk City with Junker Queen, so we'll see if the Juicio gets value.
We will have to see. It means that they play it fast and loose, already barreling down, removing reverts from the fight is Avatar Gray. Beautiful push forward here. Now they're going to find the second one, getting Cloud Lemon out of it. And, you know, blink and you miss it here. Point C seems to be going to Eat My Brownies.
Why do you need healing if the whole enemy team is dead within 5 seconds, right?
Exactly.
Why do you need sustain if there isn't a fight that lasts long to begin with? That is this matchup. It is, we're going to go fast versus we need to run the heck away from this, right? So we'll see. They do get a contest.
They do get a contest with the Tracer, beautifully timed here, but now they have to get somebody else onto this point. But Reverts will find the first one on to Juju now with that Juno missing and the Junker Queen to follow. Reverts getting 3-4 in the fight. My goodness, somebody stop this player. Holy moly.
Oh no, Queen of Diamonds, a recontest, maybe a bit unexpected for Eat My Brownies. And I think what I basically saw happen there is Avatar Gray took a bunch of damage and Juju and Zexual just couldn't keep them up. Couldn't keep them up. Again, there's not much sustain here, so they need to win a fight fast. They need to move it fast, and I think the key for Queen of Diamonds to take this next fight is the rally from Vert.
A rally from Vert, if they can earn to it in time here, as they are under pressure now. They have people firing from every angle, and Vert is dead. 2% away from that rally. Now a pulse bomb being thrown in, but Hollander will be the only casualty from it here. So now it is going to be just the Queen of Diamonds having to sort of stagger back and wait a moment here before they can get back into this fight. Revert does manage to get one. They get two here. This Cassidy just doesn't stop. Finally taken down, though, as DK is trying to lay some damage into the Junker Queen. Sound Barrier having to be invested from Sexual to keep this fight going for Eat My Brownies, but now that rally is here from Vert, trying to push forward, trying to get the advantage back going in Queen of Diamonds' favor. The Wraith and the Teleport both come out to try to keep DK alive for another day.
Queen of Diamonds, they have 3 ultimates, and all of those ultimates are incredibly strong, and you will see a bit of a re-engage here. Here's the orbital, and most likely a rampage to respond to that. Maybe Reverts finds 2 though.
Yeah, I mean, the Deadeye comes up with 2. Vert now has removed Avatar Gray, and Queen of Diamonds is going to keep their momentum going forward here. This should be point D in their favor, as it's all them all the time right now.
Yeah, so far the Juno Brig, I would say the more common backline is winning it out. I think the Juicio is a bit hard to play. You do have Juju with the orbital now, so orbital advantage is strong. But if Cloud Lemon is holding onto this rampage, you can just rampage, and that orbital means nothing. You really need to save the beat for rampage. If you don't have it, your entire ult economy now for Eat My Brownies is not great.
Oh my goodness, Avatar Gray going in aggressive though, deciding I'm just going to go here and now. Able to get one onto Reverts. Now the DPS line entirely missing for the side of Eat My Brownies, and DK is simply going to be the only casualty here as Eat My Brownies are securing their own spawn.
Eat My Brownies, they use the rampage quite early. Queen of Diamonds decide they're not going to commit anything. They're happy with getting one ultimate out because, you know, capturing that last E point is difficult, but you take it onto D, you're up 1 ult now, you're feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah, and now they're feeling really comfortable with that follow-up. Cloud Lemon caught out without a shout in sight. Hollander able to even it up, though, make it a 4v4, make that 3 as Reverse is ready. Now the Blossom in the backline. Some area got cleared as Xerneas will be missing here. Back and forth affair across the point, though. I think it will ultimately end with a slight advantage going to Eat My Brownies as they still have their Junker Queen in the fight, able to remove Vert. Now this Tracer will be trying to do what they can here. The axe swing, the orbital ray, it's all there. Avatar Gray coming up clutch.
The orbital, though, that was a waste. That was a massive waste. The fight was already over, so you lose that orbital advantage. Xerneas is halfway to it. Cloud also still has the rampage, but do they get a stagger here? Oh, no, I don't know.
Ooh, this could be bad, but no, they do get the point cap, so able to get back to the team is Avatar Gray right now. As the Rampage goes into the backline here, you've won the fight, but there's still plenty of time for Eat My Brownies to get back into this one after this massive fight win.
I'm not sure about the recontest attempt there. You saw they really wanted to get it. They used the Rampage as well, but that's not worthwhile. Avatar is going to have this Rampage real soon. They're going to have the ult advantage.
And that's something you're going to have to worry about. Early point presence going to be taken by Queen of Diamonds. The members they have here are going to be quickly sent out packing, though. They have to just regroup, wait for the rest of the team. Now both teams have all the members here. And Avatar Gray will be the first one found out again. As you're seeing this Tracer try to finish up onto the Lucio, will ultimately be traded out. Pulse Bomb stuck, but the Wraith form is there to save DK for another day. Now it is this Joker Queen Cloud Lemming trying to come up clutch, but might just have to wait for the rest of the team to get another re-engage.
Ikabom not caring at all about that Pulse Bomb. Avatar Gray still holding onto the Rampage.
Ooh, that Rampage was simply a movement ability for the side of Eat My Brownies, and that's not one that you want. Now the Orbital Ray will be traded out on the other side here. Xerneas is more than happy to invest that because it's a guaranteed fight win, and Queen of Diamonds should be taking the lead.
Yeah, and Rampage was the best way to deal with that orbital, too. All you have to do is hold on to it. That is unfortunate, and that was greedy. That was really, really greedy. Went for it, didn't pay off. Cloud Lemon, 70% to the Rampage. That's what we're looking at. Reverts has also been dangerous with Deadeyes. You don't normally see that, but I'm a little concerned about that, too.
There's tons of concern here. Eat My Brownies, they might be overheating a little bit. Need to calm down, re-establish as they are getting encroached upon. A little bit of ring around the rosy. Both teams trying to catch each other out, and it will be Dijon first finding Vert. That Brig was not long for this world. Now the Deadeye being held from Reverts, trying to find picks. Like you said, been deadly with these, and the Juno just jumps lovingly into his arms. The Deadeye will be traded out on the other side. The Battle of the Cassidys. Can't find those shots, though, to actually confirm that other kill, and now DK is just here stuck against the Juno that they can't chase down. The supports are back, though, and this Brigida is going to be here. Bit of a menace.
Okay, the Brig Juno's alive for Queen of Diamonds. I think they're just chilling. They're waiting. They're allowing their team to get back. Cloud Lemon has this Rampage. It's going to be a Rampage engage.
The Rampage engage, it's terrifying. It's just too real here. Can this beat get online? It does not matter. Sexual has been found out here, and now Queen of Diamonds might not even need it. The rally was enough to give them extra HP, but Cloud Lemon will actually invest the Rampage just on 2 members here. I mean, do what you want, I guess.
Yeah, no, Cloud Lemon. Yeah, again, you give up that Rampage. I thought they were going to open with it, but they used the rally instead, and it worked really well. So now that they've lost the Rampage, though, Juju has the Orbital, and there's nothing to deal with the Orbital. You also have Beat for Sexual, so generally, Eat My Brownies, they should take this fight no matter what.
They should, but let's see if they can actually do it here. They have these support ults to have to make sure the value is found with them. Hollander creating a lot of space right now as everybody looking for them in the back line. So with this Pulse Bomb ready to attach to someone, but they won't get that opportunity as Sexual will be the one to claim that finishing blow. Now you're seeing the rest of Queen of Diamonds having to sound the alarm, the retreat in the face of the Orbital Ray. Those hammer swings were too much, and this will be Eat My Brownies to restabilize it.
Queen of Diamonds, they don't use any ultimates. I respect them for that. That means that they have 3 going into the next fight, and they only need to win 1 more. Eat My Brownies, they need to win 2 more, which is a pretty major disadvantage. I think this all comes down to Sexual, and you're trying to beat an Orbital with a beat. It's not fun, but you can try.
You'll have to see if it is possible here. The Lucio player having a lot of pressure on them now. The Pulse Bomb trying to stick to them.
Oh,
but they actually just stand in it. Beautiful. Now no sound barrier insight means that this Orbital Ray can be delivered and just be a massive damage. Dijon looking though. We'll actually find the Junker Queen of all picks. That's the one that you wanted here. The Tracer going to force the recall in the back line. Hollander will not be long for this world. Dijon may have just saved it. The Orbital Ray being invested when they're short on members is something Queen of Diamonds may desperately want back, as now they're being pushed and swung on. And this should be Eat My Brownies tying us up and sending us to round 5.
All right, both teams only need to win one more. Eat My Brownies, they should take this. Juju close to the orbital. Xerneas doesn't have it, so orbital advantage. I always talk about orbital advantage, but that's key. Zexual still has the beat, so maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise that they managed to win the fight without using the beat. Let's just hope Zexual doesn't die early this time.
The big hope. These Lucios are just always under scrutiny. If they're in the wrong place at the wrong time, it just takes one wrong headshot to charge forward here. Oh. Now the shatter is blocked. Only would have gone onto the brig now. Whether they're aware of it or not, a Deadeye is being channeled. The Rhine Shield blocks all of it though. Able to keep everybody alive. Sure, DK goes down at the hands of the flashbang, but Eat My Brownies is feeling a massive advantage right now. It is going to be Queen of Diamonds having to try to find a way to engage back into this.
Queen of Diamonds, it's not over for them just yet, but DK Bomb does have the Death Blossom. We're going to see a recontest soon. Juju has the Orbital now, though, so that Orbital is, it's going to be key. Avatar's falling very, very low, though. Avatar will fall. The Orbital is through.
They don't touch!
Oh.
It's Queen of Diamonds. They get that massive pick, but nobody's there to follow it up, get back onto the objective. And just like that, Eat My Brownies now find themselves one map away from a massive upset and destroying the golden season of Queen of Diamonds.
All right, that is a map of Clash that went to the maximum length, essentially. And both teams, I think, it was just a back and forth, but the Reinhardt in particular was interesting. I don't think it's entirely impossible against that Junker Queen composition, though, and I do think they could make it work, but that was really close.
Really close back and forth. You really are going to be wanting that one back if you're Queen of Diamonds. What could have been with that C9 at the end, not getting over to the objective, but you got to put that behind you now. You have to look forward. You need to win both of these next two maps because, again, it's sort of the pride. You don't want anyone to know that they can beat you heading into the postseason here. So we'll have to see if Queen of Diamonds can deliver, but Eat My Brownies, you know, you said it going into that map, they just look better on the brawl.
Right. Their brawl is very strong. It's very effective. We've also gotten to see completely different compositions with the Junker Queen mirror. I think from both teams, ult usage was a little iffy, but I will say that Hollander in particular, probably the most valuable pulses that you can see. We saw Hollander stick the Juno, who had Orbital, winning a fight. We saw Hollander get the Lucio there at the end as well, get Zexual, and you know, that should have resulted in the end. That should have ended the map, really. I think it was really just kind of a clutch play from the Cassidy. Who was it? Who's our Cassidy, our star Cassidy player? Dijon. Yeah, Dijon turned that around, but that really shouldn't have happened. That pulse should have decided it, right? Onto the Lucio had beat. And I think that also goes to show, like, the fight planning and the understanding of, like, who should I throw the pulse onto? And that was the right choice. Hollander just hunts down the Lucio. And I mean, I'm impressed by that. So I do have to give credit where it's due.
Absolutely massive. I think on both sides, really, these DPS players have been sort of stepping up, right? How many times are we calling out either Reverts or Dijon, whether it's the Cassidy, the Ashe coming in, whatever it may be, just simply doing the damage and absolutely lighting it up the way that you love to see here. But you know, they're both going to have to, you know, get ready for another performance as we head into push.
Right, and New Queen Street is weird. That's all I can say about New Queen Street. I kind of expect both teams to run Queen again, or at least try something like that, but we've seen everything from Junker Queen to Orisa mirrors to ball comps, even at the highest level. New Queen Street allows for a lot of different compositions, weirdly enough. We could even see Diva. So I think we'll just go into this. It's hard to predict what either team will go for, but I think this is an evenly matched map going into this, because I don't think it's entirely Brawl favored.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's very odd. There's a lot of different positionings. Once you're getting past the checkpoint on either side, there's high ground that you have to make sure you're contesting properly. The map geometry overall is just, it's very odd, favors no real specific composition. It's more so just about keeping up the tempo, keeping up the momentum, right? Because if you're able to get that first checkpoint, great, but you want to keep it going past that, because otherwise, getting back to that point is going to be so brutal. So many extra fights you have to take, which is typical of push, but on New Queen Street, it does feel just extra, right? There's so many different paths for attackers to come in and just ready to contest.
Right. New Queen Street, its geometry is like it allows for a lot of flanks, but simultaneously has like a lot of high grounds. So you can still run the brawl. It still works, but then like dive compositions, there's also a lot of merit there. There's a lot of places you can be as a tracer. There's a lot of places you can even go as like a Genji or something like that. And also when you're at that checkpoint fight, like you were talking about, control over that mega room in particular, right? So you kind of have maybe a brawlier aspect to the composition that controls that mega room, and you really have to think about how do teams take those fights at that specific corner, because that corner is the challenge, right? That's where you see every team get stuck, at that corner. So if a team can bypass that or take a really effective fight, especially with ults, then I think that's the greatest test for the teams here.
Greatest test indeed. We will just have to see, though. As these teams sort of get everything set up, we do see another substitution. Wonder Waffle coming back in here for Eat My Brownies. Both these rosters, again, we talked about it earlier, just completely very deep, full of lots of talented players here in the Diamond tier. So they like to sub people around, but as I start to wonder from, the last time we had a bunch of substitutions, right? What does this do to your comm structure, right? Who's actually making these calls, potential ult tracking changes, things like that. These can all add up in these intense matches.
Right. Wonder Waffle's in. I'm not sure what that might mean just yet for Eat My Brownies. We see Zaxual is staying in. And we saw Zaxual on the Lucio. So maybe some Lucio Kiriko or something of the sort. I'm not sure exactly what we'll see yet, but going into it, we'll get a better idea. But Avatar Gray staying in kind of tells me that maybe they prefer Brawl here.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I would not blame them for preferring Brawl, right? They just looked so much better on it. Because it's just what they've been doing best at here. We've seen, now on the other side of things, for the side of Queen's Gambit, they want to be the ones to, maybe change it up, maybe force some dive, things like that. But only time will tell if they can get it working.
Yep, Queen of Diamonds. Looks like they're insta-locking the Juno break. Eat My Brownies. They don't have as good an idea of what they're going to run just yet. I think the key here is K-Cloud or Cloud Lemon on the Diva. So again, like you see these Diva kind of brawl compositions, they're more of a newer thing at the moment, but they are effective specifically against Orisa.
I mean, effective is one way to put it. I feel like it's almost neutering is one of the things you can do here, as long as you, again, time your cooldowns right and things like that. But we will have to see how it pans out, as the Diva already able to get first towards the objective here. You're seeing the positioning they're taking, sort of looking for their opponents, finally realizing Eat My Brownies is going to be pushing from this high ground here. Bit of a disengage, Cloud Lemon not wanting to be too deep here. Meanwhile, just sort of looking for their opportunity, right? Queen of Diamonds, they're going to want to wait for the call from Hollander to be set up on the Tracer, who's currently taking an angle on the low ground, not really on the flanks like you would expect here. Cooldowns being forced out from Avatar Gray on the Orisa, so now potentially could be a go button here. That Orisa incredibly weak is going to force the Immortality Field from Wonder Waffle. It's there in time, but now actual healing has to come through, as Dijon has found Hollander though, so this will be a bit of a reprieve for Eat My Brownies. They can sort of stabilize beyond that effort, as the rest of Queen of Diamonds simply choose to wait for their Tracer player.
Eat My Brownies playing pretty passive here. You see Avatar Gray just kind of like using the Fortify and sitting there, not really doing a ton, maybe a little afraid to push into this composition. What this tells me is that they're mainly playing just to buy time for Dijon to get a pick. Like, honestly, you see Avatar Gray just playing really, really slow. That just tells me, okay, we're just going to chill. We're going to chill. Can Dijon get something?
I mean, hey, listen, it's an effective strategy. I don't blame them for it in the slightest here. So now, looking forward, Eat My Brownies is just going to be approaching this first corner, like we talked about, so crucial. That Baptiste, incredibly low in the backline, though, is going to be found out thanks to this sort of backline presence that the Diva can have. shooting in now. The beautiful flashbang is going to remove Hollander from the fight. Reverse does manage to get one onto Avatar Gray before succumbing to death themselves here. So it seems like Queen of Diamonds a little bit messy, but they should be able to get the bot moving their way.
All right, Queen of Diamonds, they were kind of able to kind of swing the corner there and go and kind of just push, and they got the Baptiste really fast. I think Eat My Brownies, they were looking to swing that corner, but they didn't really commit on it. Avatar had already used his Fortify really early, which isn't great. So after that Fortify's gone, you can't push, right? But if your Baptiste is in a position where you need to push, that can cause problems. Both teams have Orbital now, so we're going to see Orbital traded on this next corner. It looks like Eat My Brownies are taking their time here.
Taking their time, they know they have the lead, and they're going to wait for their moment to re-engage, and this will be it. Avatar Gray, though, has already expended Fortify, and some of these other crucial overs the cooldowns. Going to now use the Terror Surge to try to help live just a little bit longer, but the Orbital right now being thrown out on the other side means that DK is not long for this world here, trying to contest to stop that lead from coming through, but I think you have bigger issues, Avatar Gray, and it's just the overwhelming damage as everybody in Queen of Diamonds was in that Orbital right, getting that boost, helping each other out to get the lead.
This feels a little too easy almost for Queen of Diamonds. Avatar Gray pretty much immediately fortifies every fight, which is a bit of a problem, right? Because normally you see Orisa players, they use their Javelin Spin, they get in there, then they use the Fortify, and you're kind of holding space that way. But, you know, Avatar Gray just, it's expended too early, and now we see the swap over to Reinhardt. Will this be any more effective? I'm not sure. I mean, you're up against double hit scan, you're up against the D.Va. It's not going to be that much fun.
No, I mean, I feel like this is more about shielding. Again, like you said, just giving Dijorn more opportunity, more time to look for these picks. As now Dijorn going to be in this upper window, taking a duel against Reaver. Both Cassidy's doing damage, but wanting to get away. But Dijorn simply can't. Gets bound with a railgun from Hollander, and now that go button. Oh, the Death Blossom thought that the enemies were there, and simply they were not. Beautiful play from Queen of Diamonds, albeit probably more by accident than anything else, but they send themselves further in the lead.
Yeah, and, you know, Eat My Brownies, they do have orbital advantage, but Xerneas is already halfway to his next orbital, so that could be removed pretty quickly, and it's kind of easy for this D.Va composition to kite as well. It's a little easier than maybe an Orisa composition, because that Orisa can kind of get bursted, the D.Va can fly away a little easier. Hollander also has the overclock, so maybe we'll see an early overclock here in this last section of the map.
Possibly can do tons of damage. Might want to try to burst down some of that Rhine shield, though, just so it isn't completely countered. Now, actually fully respecting the Rhine. You're seeing this kite back, and it's going to be right into the LOS of this Deadeye. Doesn't ultimately come up with anything here. Dijorn now trying to roll forward, get one on to their opposite cast. Revert, though, the healing is there from Xerneas and Vert, and now Avatar Gray is the one without healing. This Cassidy is the next to follow here. Wonder Waffle kind of wondering where the Brig was during all of that, as there's just going to be more and more of the Queen of Diamonds rolling ahead.
A flawless speed ring from Xerneas, and flawless peel, really, from Cloud Lemon to help Reverts get out. And there you go. You got to fight when Xerneas has the orbital advantage now. Wonder Waffle holding on to that rally, but that's all Eat My Brownies have left. Maybe a shatter, but I don't know.
I don't know indeed. Here they're on their last leg. The orbital ray now being dedicated. Everybody's going to have that extra damage and extra healing as long as they're playing in it. The D.Va bomb being thrown up overhead comes up with two. That's not what you want to see. Make it a third. The baby D.Va simply does not matter here. Just going to be some last second contest here, as it should be a full cap from Queen of Diamonds to send us to map 5.
There we go. We're going on to a map 5, and that's an aggressive D.Va bomb to close out a very one-sided new Queen Street. Queen of Diamonds. I think this is the Queen of Diamonds we saw in Blizzard World. Really, is what we saw here, and I mean, that was impressive.
I mean, yeah, they just simply, they got the momentum going for them once after, you know, some initial push coming through from Eat My Brownies, and they simply never let it go here. Aggressive D.Va bombs, it's not something you see all too commonly nowadays, simply because a lot of divas like to play more passively, use it as a remake tool, but when it pops off, man, does it feel good.
Right, and that map was just a little tough for Eat My Brownies, you know? That was like, it was a little rough. I feel like the primary issue for them is they didn't know how to approach their cooldown rotation. They didn't know how to approach taking space, and it was very easy for Queen of Diamonds. You know, you force the cooldowns first. You're just chilling. You're waiting. And then after that, they just push. And it's a pretty free push too, especially when the Orisa loses the Fortify. And then, you know, you see Eat My Brownies go with the Reinhardt to try and kind of adapt from there, but Reinhardt and D.Va is honestly harder, you know? So this D.Va brawl, very effective. Very, very effective.
Very effective, and again, like you said, it kind of does help out when the Orisa on the other side is just burning cooldowns without seemingly a rhyme or reason. But hopefully there will be some time for Eat My Brownies to tighten that one up, figure it all out, as we are going to throw it to another break. But you want to make sure to come back on the other side of this one, map 5, to decide the series, decide who's going to take that not championship. We're nowhere near there yet, just this victory. Don't worry about it.
Water is the softest and most yielding substance, yet nothing is better than water for overcoming the hard and rigid, because nothing can compete with it. Lao Tzu.
Name straight, new wave. Name straight, new wave.
Well, we've had a barn burner of a series here going the distance. The firefighters are now on standby as we are in our final map here. It will be escort to decide it all between Queen of Diamonds and Eat My Brownies. And I mean, it's just been this great back and forth affair, OC.
On to map 5, and so far, what we've seen is Eat My Brownies. They tend to perform a little better on those brawl maps, right? Queen of Diamonds, when they get to play Dive, when they get to play Diva, they've so far excelled with that, right? And I think in a Diva mirror, we might see them, again, have a little bit of an advantage, just like they did on Blizzard World. And I think Rialto here is going to look a lot like Blizzard World. It is a little different. The geometry is a little different, but I think Eat My Brownies, the pressure is on them now. The pressure is on them to adapt and figure out how to deal, especially with the Mercy composition that we saw at a Queen of Diamonds, because they're bringing their Mercy player back in.
Yes, indeed. The spoilers behind the scenes. Substitutions have been made. Queen of Diamonds, Salty, and Locos coming back in here. Bringing the Echo in as well just makes sense, right? You have two different people to apply that pocket to, exactly like they did on Blizzard World. So you're going to see more of that from them here. But again, like you said, it's not really on Queen of Diamonds to adjust anything, right? It's very similar to Blizzard World. They get to play what they want. The adjustments have to be on the side of Eat My Brownies. And, it can be a hero pick thing. It can be other swaps. Who knows? But ultimately, I think it is going to be maybe trying to find ways to force that brawl. Here on Rialto, you do have that first corner on first point. You can get a lot of fun things going with the brawl here. But after that is where it's going to get really difficult for you.
Right. I think the pressure is on Avatar Gray here. Are you going to try and play the Reinhardt again? Are you going to try and run the Orisa again? If you do, I think there needs to be adjustments to the playstyle. There needs to be something different needs to happen. Otherwise, we're going to get a repeat of New Queen Street. So a lot of pressure on the tank player here. Imp's back in as well. We'll see if they make any difference. It's going to be interesting.
Gonna be interesting indeed here. And again, these teams maybe not the highest of stakes in the world besides bragging rights heading into the postseason, but it does make it that much more interesting when they're playing each other this close, right? I think it tells you exactly what you want to hear going into the postseason. No team is truly safe. Everybody can sort of go toe to toe with each other depending on compositions, maps, everything under the sun. And it will be just sort of those interesting factors here. But especially heading into Rialto, like you said, lots of Diva play. More than expected here. You're going to have the Ashe, the Echo. I wonder if you're Brownies, do you just throw it to the wall? Do you just try to full-on mirror, or do you have to have some other composition up your sleeve?
I think in this case scenario, maybe something like Winston could work. And when you're thinking about traditional hero pools, even though they don't matter as much, you have the main tank hero pool. And that's what I've kind of seen out of Avatar Gray. They like to run the Reinhardt, we've seen them on Orisa, and considering that, maybe Avatar Gray's staying in for Winston. And when you're running Winston against Diva, there's an argument for Winston there. It is a little difficult, especially if you're up against Echo or something like that, but that's their best chance in my opinion. I think some sort of a dive mirror running that Winston, because that's where Diva, it's almost Diva's weakness, weirdly enough, because I know a lot of players might think of Diva as a counter to Winston, but in reality, when you're talking organized play, Winston compositions tend to be able to create a little more space and put a little more pressure on the opposing backline.
Yeah, that pressure is going to be something that we absolutely have to, look for here, right? I mean, we've been seeing it all match long, just how good the Diva play has been, right? And, to try to match that is going to be difficult just sort of for any player right now, right? When you see what you're going up against. But ultimately, only time can tell here, as we are just simply waiting, making sure every single team is team member is ready, making sure it's all good to go. But you know, the stakes are built. We're all here. We're ready to see how exactly this can break down.
Exactly, right? Players may be taking their bios. You gotta be ready for map 5 here. No accidents during map 5.
I mean, to be fair, you have what was it? Wasn't it Jonak that said that he played better when he had to use the bathroom? Wasn't that something that was said during the Owl days?
That's funny. Yeah, just play harder and you get to go to the bathroom sooner, I guess. That is funny though. Yeah, again, I think this first point is a bit of a test for both teams as well. If you try to run something other than the Diva, I think it might be a little harder on first point. But if you get past that first point, I kind of have confidence that both teams can kind of move through the second point then. So we'll see.
We shall see indeed, as now we are getting to see the beautiful gondoliers. We are here in Italy. You know, it's absolutely amazing. The Overwatch map designers always do a good job. Maybe except for this bridge. I don't know. There's something about this bridge that I would like changed. There's nothing really wrong with it, just from an aesthetics decision. Just sort of me being nitpicky now that I'm staring at it. Maybe, I don't know, just get rid of the railings altogether. Just like let people fall if they fall.
Let's create the biggest kill box we possibly can, then put a high ground for the defenders so that they can shoot you during that kill box, and you have a low ground so you have another angle you can shoot that kill box from. It's a great idea.
They see now you're understanding why I would be the best map designer. Luckily they don't pay me the big bucks for that just yet, but you know what they do pay me to do is look at these team comps, and we are seeing that Mercy in play like you said, but the attackers are going to be teleporting somewhere, it seems to start.
Yeah, maybe a TP onto the high ground. We'll see. Eat my brownies. We have Avatar Gray on the Diva. So Diva Mirror. Can Avatar Gray, can they match Cloud Lemon on this Diva? We'll see. Okay, back over to Ashe for revert. So Echo, Ashe, like before, same exact starting composition as Blizzard World defense. And DK Bomb on the Genji. Can DK Bomb get any value out of that?
We will have to see here, as now it is going to be this assault of the high grounds here. The entirety of Eat My Brownies defense is holstered up here for the time being. Focusing Beam is applying that damage down to Avatar Gray, but the mech is still intact for the time being. But Reverts will find a damage resistant shot onto DK, getting them out of the fight. Now the members of Eat My Brownies, incredibly low HP, going to be the mech lost next, followed up by Wonderwap. And it is just going to be more and more damage cascading forward here. And wait, yeah, Salty does just have ult already. My goodness.
All right, so Salty putting in a good bit of work here, already in the spawn. Gonna put on a little pressure here, deciding maybe that's not the best idea, but okay. Salty, okay. So a little awkward there, but deciding not to go for the most aggressive play possible, and we're already nearing the end of this point.
I mean, it's the end of this point for sure here. And the members of Eat My Brownies are incredibly low, having to run away for point B. The mech is going to be lost here for Avatar Gray once again. This snowballing momentum is absolutely crazy here as Avatar Gray jumps off the map, and is just going to be full-scale retreat for Eat My Brownies as they want to muster some sort of defense.
Yeah, and also I do want to mention that this is going to be really hard for Wonder Waffle on the Brig against the Echo, against the Ashe. There's not a lot you can do here on the Brig, so maybe we'll see them swap off it, but oh no.
I mean, they might have time as they're already being dove here once again. Dijon down now with the duplicate being forced out. Cloud Lemon does lose their mech in all of this, and this Genji dupe does not seem to be coming up with the ult that they would want. Salty taken out of that duplicate form does mean that this defense is starting to stabilize. The Bob has been thrown from Queen of Diamonds. It's stuck on this corner though, not going much forward, but the rest of the team can go forward. Reverts finding their opposite member, and now Avatar Gray having to try to clean up and do a little bit of damage here. The TP is there perfectly in time, but it's not actually all that immortal of a TP here, as Avatar Gray has managed to stabilize.
Avatar Gray coming in with the trades there. Oh, Locos, get out of there. Okay, Locos is out. Cloud Lemon has the remake, but that's about it. You know, you're closing on that Kitsune. You're probably just going to play for that. Imp already has the orbital, so I expect a fast orbital, like annihilation fight from Eat My Brownies.
I mean, yes, that should be their game plan here. We'll have to see. That hack comes through onto the Diva. So now that Defense Ranger's down for just a moment. It allowed the rush forward here. It's going to be the annihilation being delivered, and that damage is followed up on by the rest of the team here. So Eat My Brownies, after a very bad start, are finally getting something going.
All right, Avatar Gray on the Ram on Rialto too. I do actually like it a good bit. And this also kind of helps Wonder Waffle a little bit. to be able to at least like brawl a little easier, play around the shield, and then back away. Dijon with the Bob. Where's Dijon going to throw it? Inside or outside? That's the question.
This Bob placement can be crucial here as long as it doesn't end up in the river. Cloud Lemon incredibly low, but does get that burst of healing through after the fact. Absolutely massive. Now we're seeing the Ashes fight each other on high ground, trying to find the damage, but it will be Dijon coming up in that pick. Makes a second one. The Mercy now being found out. Cannot do three for Dijon. Looking for more, but it seems like the rest of them are going to be chased out here as Cloud Lemon is the last one standing.
All right, it does use the orbital, but no Bob at all, and Xerneas Kitsune's out, so pretty good ult fight, ult trade for Eat My Brownies. Now, Cloud Lemon, a little aggressive. There's the hack. Can Cloud Lemon even get out of there? Reverts, where did Reverts go?
Reverts maybe took a swim in the river. That's sort of what we're expecting to have happened there. But yeah, I mean, Salty has gone from, you know, unpunishable to completely punished here. Domination after domination happening. Dijon coming alive here on the Ash, just as we expected. This hit scan prowess knows no bounds here. Now it is going to be Piggies, though, with the help of a damage boost, able to take Dijon out of the fight. Avatar Gray looking for where this Ramontra low finally going to be removed by the Kiriko, and a palm thrown in perfectly to remove DK. It means that Queen of Diamonds is going to get this payload moving again.
All right, Salty getting that initial pick, but also committing the copy, so now no ultimates for Queen of Diamonds going into this final fight on second point. This is a key fight for Eat My Brownies if they take this, and they have the Bob, too. They can test with the Bob. They can go in, they have Annihilation, they have EMP, they have so many resources here.
They do. The Bob already thrown in. It's gone past the car, but it's forcing everybody to hide on this staircase right in the face of the Annihilation, where it's going to be dedicated from Avatar Gray. Now it is just the D.Va who manages to get out with their mech for the time being, but they cannot get staggered. It's going to be brutal if it happens.
All right, Cloud Lemon just barely able to get out. Reverts close to the Bob, 1 minute 30 left, and Eat My Brownies at this point, it's safe to say they've made up for their poor first point hold. DK Bomb has the EMP, and EMP Rally, I suppose. You can just kind of go with that.
You can indeed, but the punches are going to be there. Salty a little too deep on the Echo, maybe not realizing they were within range, striking range of that Ramontra. Now this EMP can be saved for another fight.
Yep, just playing it slow. Queen of Diamonds. Just trying to get their Ash back here, going for another hack on the mini. Pressure onto the D.Va. Cloud Lemon's very low. There's no tank.
No tank, that mech is gone, and now the healing comes through onto Avatar Gray. Another great stabilization effort for the defense here. Salty will be the next to fall here. They are going to get a resurrect through, so now it's just about trying to get this baby D.Va back in her mech. Only a couple of percentage away, but in that meantime, you're going to see the go button as Avatar Gray comes through, delivers those Fists of Fury, able to get that pick, ultimately giving their life for it, but the rest of the team is there following it up, and now with only 30 seconds left, Queen of Diamonds have to regroup one more time.
Queen of Diamonds, they need to try and get their Bob on point, but Eat My Brownies are not going to make that easy, and I think Eat My Brownies should just play super aggressive here. Go for an aggressive orbital, rally, EMP, I don't care, but it looks like they're gonna give them that space. I don't know about that.
I feel like they were scared their Ramontra wasn't back just yet, but now Avatar Gray is present. We'll have to see what ultimates are invested first here. It's going to be the EMP thrown out. It hits 4 members in the back line here. The Orbital Ray is helping out a lot as now the Overtime Wick is starting to burn. That duplicate is not long for this world. It's simply the Ramontra trying to do what they can. They built an Annihilation, but there's only so much that this Echo can do. They actually come up with 2 picks in the middle of everything here, and there's a Resurrect onto the D.Va. This could actually be massive. The D.Va managed to get back into mech. Avatar Gray now wondering where the rest of the team is, trying to punch an Echo fruitlessly in the air. Annihilation now being popped on the cart here as the Juno is trying to keep Avatar Gray alive. They won't be able to do it, and just like that, that Resurrect from the Mercy was massive here. The Bob being dedicated now. Dijon does get one on Xerneas here, but are they going to be able to find any more before the Bob is bursted? The answer is no. Now DK going in, trying to get that D.Va mech, simply won't be able to do it. Another Resurrect comes through. Locos is being the hero this fight needs right now as Avatar Gray pinning this fight. It just simply will not end. There's contest coming through time and again, but it seems like Queen of Diamonds should have this one locked up here unless there's some miracle from the Reinhardt. I think you would need 4 more hammers to try to get something done. The Demon Bomb is going to be the cherry on top, and Queen of Diamonds will keep this push alive.
That's so unfortunate. DK Bomb went too early. Went for the contest immediately after the Bob. I mean, Dijon's Bob bought the time that Eat My Brownies needed for another fight, but DK Bomb just went in too early to try and like continue to contest. That did not work out, right? So now we're on the third point. This is where the Ramatra is honestly the most powerful, where this Brig is the most powerful. So it'll be difficult to break through this final area. You only have a minute to do it as well.
Only a minute to do it, but we've seen them break through more difficult things. We'll have to see how it works out for them to go past onto the D.Va, sort of making it just annoying to exist. And now it is just, again, watching these flanks. DK looking for an opportunity here, isn't going to be finding much of anything. Meanwhile, the brawl on card, the stick comes through. It does manage to hit onto Avatar Grey. Absolutely massive. Reverts will take that trade any day of the week. Now with the Ramatra missing, the Resurrect comes through. It's a 5v4 once again. Eat my brownies. Their defense is starting to lack numbers. They have to be careful here, but DK is going to get found out. 80% to that EMP. You're going to wish you had that one. It is now the cascade effect happening. No Ramatra means that it's just going to be Avatar Grey finally out of spawn, but with time in the bank, just barely, Queen of Diamonds will get this one done.
Eat my brownies, misunderstanding their win condition there. You have Imp who's close to the orbital. You have Wonder Waffle who's close to the rally. It's very tempting when you're using Form on ramp to hit the gas, right? In reality, you just have to stop the cart and play the corner and just play super slow. It feels like you're doing nothing, but you're getting the most value that way. You're playing for those key ultimates, and then you can win the fight that way, right? So I think a bit of a misplay from Eat My Brownies that will allow Queen of Diamonds to cap all three. And now my concern is how are Eat My Brownies going to approach this attack? Because defending on Brawl is one thing, attacking on Brawl is another. And those are two very different games on Rialto. Attacking this first point in particular can be very difficult. So that's really maybe even the most challenging aspect of this map to overcome. If Eat My Brownies make it to the third point, they have an advantage at that point with their composition, with the Ramatra. First point, they are in an active disadvantage.
I mean, yeah, first point's going to be the brutal one here, but we saw how much they could make it work on both second and third, so only time will tell if they can actually get it there. But, you know, something to keep in mind, again, with this damage boost, right, we saw how much impact this Mercy could have. These Resurrects, they're happening behind corners, places that you can't really punish the Mercy or anything like that, as well as the damage boost. I mean, that was, what, a 40-second duplicate build on the last round? I mean, you can do some crazy things with the Mercy.
Yeah, that was really fast, like 30 seconds, and now we see maybe a TP here. We're just running the sim in general. So they're gonna try and TP Avatar Grey around. They're gonna look to approach these high grounds with a teleporter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good way to apply pressure here, but it seems like the low ground's going to be where they want to go first. This Ramatra will be bursted, though. Damage on both sides is too much to bear for our favorite Omnek. Now Avatar Grey sent back to spawn here, as it is just going to be the rest of Eat My Brownie simply choosing to wait for the time being, but it seems like their waiting opportunity was not accepted from Queen of Diamonds. It's going to be some more cleanup.
Yeah, maybe a bit of a miscommunication there. I would have thought that DK Bomb is throwing down the TP for Avatar Grey and that backline, that Brig Juno to take the high ground. We'll see if that happens this time, but I think the problem is they've lost the element of surprise.
Yeah, and now you're fully expecting it. You're ready to break these teleporters and sort of isolate members that come through if the whole team can't get through at the same time. But Reverts could also just do that, right? Removing Dijon from the equation this early on with the help of that Mercy Pocket. And now Avatar Grey forced to just cross those arms, apply that block to try to live a little bit longer. It's done in vain, as they will be bursted immediately after the fact here. And it's just Eat My Brownies again sent reeling into spawn.
Eat My Brownies, like I expected. This first point is not going to be easy. And now DK Bomb off the sim on Mei. All you can do on Mei here is try and, like, pressure the Ashe and wall the Ashe, and then, you know, put a little bit of pressure onto the D.Va. That's it, but it's so difficult.
It's so difficult, but that's a good start, right? Dijon able to get reverts. Now it's going to be about trying to guard and make sure this Resurrect does not come through. Another duplicate onto the Ramatra for Salty here. Building incredibly fast towards an annihilation. They will get pressured out, though. Finally removed from that duplicate form, and it will be Salty going down after the fact. So now no DPS are here. It does mean that it's just going to be this lone D.Va trying to contest as baby form, but the first corner hold has finally been broken.
All right, and there we go. A little stagger into reverts there. Unnecessary death for Queen of Diamonds. They have 3 ultimates going to the next fight. Eat My Brownies. They have 5. So you're in prime position, and you really do need to win this fight. You can't afford to kind of lose your positional advantage again. One issue, though, is Queen of Diamonds, they're able to take this high ground for free.
Yeah, nobody else really able to contest that high ground, but the low ground does have to be approached at some point for the cart. Now you're seeing bombs being thrown back and forth here. Ultimately, hasn't come up with much just yet, but Reverts will be the first casualty. The bomb creating space, able to remove two, one of course being the Bob, and now with that Resurrect, Cloud Lemon is back in the fight, as well as back in mech. But this payload's moving forward. They got to make sure to have somebody on it to contest. The D.Va is here, able to eat the Blizzard from DK, absolutely massive in potential of turning this fight. Avatar Gray goes down, and Reverts on the Widowmaker coming back, turning this one. Does get found by Dijorn here. It is now a very staggered out fight, but Dijorn turning this one on its head. Not done yet.
Dijorn and Reverts going at it. A classic hit scan duel that's been kind of defining throughout this match. And now Eat My Brownies, they're still holding on to this rally. They still have it available. Xerneas needs to build the Kitsune now. I mean, really, Queen of Diamonds, they should just take this next fight very slowly. Play for your ultimates, and then you'll have a win condition to work off from there.
Yes, but I don't think the slow is in Avatar Gray's playbook here. He might have to finally slow down now that he's low HP, having to be careful of that Ramatra here. The D.Va flying in, able to get out for the time being. Going to force the Cryo now is Salty, applying that pressure to the Mei here. The rally is out, giving everybody that extra HP. Another duplicate onto the Ramatra here. It is stunned up. That HP bar dropping incredibly low for Salty. That they've decided they've had enough of the duplicate Ramatras. Only one can be on the field, and their name is Avatar Gray. Pushing forward now, both Ashes are going to be missing from this fight. This Echo trying to find some value in the backline, does manage to find onto Wonder Waffle here. Now with the Mercy Pot healing, is going to be able to live for the rest of this fight. Annihilation dedicated, but it ultimately comes up with nothing. Now being traded back and forth here, but Cloud Lemon is the hero needed in this moment, and this will be a good defending point.
All right, a bit of a back and forth trade fight there. Xerneas' Kitsune, I think, made the difference at the very end, but you see a lot of progress made. You really only need one to win more fight at this point, or in my Brownies, and that's kind of on the back of Wonder Waffle's quite wonderful rally, actually. The timing was great. You throw it out before Xerneas has the Kitsune available, and that forces a lot of card progress. And now we'll see, in my Brownies, can I get one more?
One more as Avatar Gray so incredibly low. Someone has to heal this Ramatra. They are able to do a little bit in time here as Locos will red Salty back into the fight. So all the members here once again for the defense. It is going to be this Echo under pressure though. Finally does get found, but with a missing tank is going to make it absolutely difficult as the Blizzard's actually being dedicated to try to take Cloud Lemon out of mech here. Absolutely could be massive if not found though. Reverts beautifully timed headshot, able to take DK out of it here. And now Eat My Brownies, they're still trying to fight in a down situation where they know they don't have players. They just have to reset.
Yeah, in my Brownies, they have basically one more chance here. Oh, Dijorn very, very low. Oh!
It's ultimately done, though. The focusing beam was enough, and now they are trying to rush forward here. Avatar Gray back in it. The Nemesis form is not going to be long, though, and they're going to be missing. Now the Bob dedicated means that it's going to be more and more damage applied from all angles here. The Ramatra is down. The Mei is the last one standing here, wasting time in Cryo for the ultimately respawn with their team.
I'm not sure about the crowd decision there. You're trying to get back as fast as possible. You have 40 seconds. You need to get back to the spawn room. And now Avatar Gray, close to the Annihilation. Imp over to Lucio, I think, just to make this rotation a bit faster maybe. But I don't know about this. I guess you're relying on the rally from Wonder Waffle for the sustain to get you through this fight. But Xerneas has the Kitsune. So really, as long as Queen is Diamonds, they get a solid Kitsune here, it might be really hard to win for my Brownies. I mean, keeping Avatar Gray alive is going to be the challenge.
Indeed, we're gonna watch it here as now another duplicate comes through onto the Ramatra, and 99% is where Avatar Gray will die. They're now missing their Ramatra, they're missing their Lucio. Only 3 members left, triggering this overtime. The rally is able to create a lot of space, but there's only so much it can do. Now wearing off their Brigitte realizes she's the one member left standing. She can't do it alone. And Queen of Diamonds in a 5-map series keep their golden season alive.
Eat My Brownies, they're suffering the map pool diff, I think, from this match. Simply a little stronger on the brawl, but they're weaker in that dive mirror up against the D.Va compositions. So we see Queen of Diamonds, they come out on top. The D.Va from Cloud Lemon in particular, incredible throughout this entire match. So, I mean, that was a good back and forth.
Absolutely impressive back and forth from both these squads, and like you said, that map diff You know, it's something that might change up in the playoffs when you have these opportunities to select your maps instead of these set map pools. But Queen of Diamonds, they were able to adapt and overcome at the end of the day, playing behind the 8 ball a lot, but able to get it done regardless here. And it's just good luck from them. Now 9-0 with that extra win from the midseason. They get that flawless regular season victory, and it must feel good.
Right. I mean, that's a solid victory there, and I think that tells you, if you're a player on Queen of Diamonds, what you need to work on. That tells you what you need to work on. Those brawl situations, those brawl maps, that's where you're struggling. What I'm surprised they didn't do is, I'm surprised they don't stick with the Diva. I'm surprised they don't stick with the Diva and just try and run more of a brawly kind of a style, kind of like what SSG do, right? So that could be an option for them. They could continue to run the Symmetra or any sort of variation of that, because that does work against all the teams that are running. It can work against Queen, it can work against Orisa too. I think against Ram it's harder, but still, you know, I do think there's a solid argument for it, right? So for both teams, it does really show their weaknesses. It does show what they need to work on.
Yes, indeed. But, you know, maybe to exploit those weaknesses, or maybe figure out how highly they think of themselves, we can get some actual some investigative journalism done. So if you'll give us time for a quick little break, we'll set up a winner's interview with a member of Queen of Diamonds. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Alrighty, we have Hollander here from the side of Queen of Diamonds. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing well. Glad to see some 5-map Overwatch. Congrats on the victory, of course. But, just getting right into it, did you guys expect it to be this close of an affair? Or, did this catch you off guard?
I've been told that Eat My Brownies usually plays us close for some reason. But I do have to give them some respect. They played pretty well. Kind of caught us by surprise. We did think it was going to be a 3-0 like usual. But we were able to hang in there and manage it.
Yeah. So, just going forward here, OC, is there anything you'd like to ask?
Yeah, one map in particular, Hanaoka. Were you a little disappointed by the result there? Because I noticed your pulses, you hit the Juno with Orbital, you hit the Lucio with Beat. That was solid.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate map. At the very end, I get in for a quick touch, and I'm hoping for a little bit more than the second that I got. I was hoping for at least the actual second, but DeJorn clipped me as soon as I laid foot, and we were gonna come in with Queen ult, and it looked good for us, but yeah, unfortunately, it was just that split second that we lost. That's where that map went.
Yeah, it was really close.
Yeah, super close indeed. But you do come away with a victory. Queen of Diamonds now sits 9-0. You complete the flawless regular season. You won the mid-season tournament. Going into the postseason, right? How high of a standard are y'all holding yourselves to? Are you ready to take this whole thing?
Yeah, we don't see any problem getting the final. We think that we can, as long as we play well, play together, we'll be able to get through and beat pretty much anyone in this league. That being said, we do have to play well. Like tonight, we got to respect teams. Teams deserve respect, but as long as we lock in, I don't think there's any team that could ever beat us.
Alrighty, hey, I like that confidence. I like that energy. So before we get you up out of here, if you'd like to take your time, shout anybody out, this is your floor to do so.
Tonight, big ups to Salt. He had a big play along with Locos. They kind of clutched at the end on Rialto when we had to go to that map 5. They kept us in it there. And then Rev and Cloud are always super solid. And they performed well tonight.
Awesome. Well, we'll let you go celebrate with your team. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us, and we'll be looking forward to seeing more Queen of Diamonds in the postseason.
All right, thank you for having us.
Alrighty, OC, and unless I am mistaken, that does wrap up another day of CGL action here. And we're almost at the end of the regular season. We got 2 more days.
Right, end of the regular season. I'm doing my best to keep up as well. Things move fast, and seasons fly by, right? So much Overwatch being played, though. A lot been going on. We have CGL, we had EPL a little earlier before OWCS. Now we're approaching Stockholm. So, but yeah, CGL playoffs going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting for these teams.
Absolutely. So make sure you're tuning into all the action. Of course, tomorrow, our favorite night here at CGL, Saturday Night Overwatch. We get the fancy prod out. We get it all going. Speaking of fraud, of course, I'd like to take the time to thank Headrammer for running everything behind the scenes this evening. We had Echo doing the observer work, getting those great in-game camera angles for us. Of course, I'd like to thank you as well, OC. Always a pleasure to cast with many people. And unless you got something to say, I think we're ready to get out of here.
Yeah, I think we're ready to get out of here. Good match, effective play, and we got him at 5.
Yippee. So thank you all for tuning in, and we'll just see you when we see you.
crazy, Malin. I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.